Up next on KDKA Saturday.
A rough night for people across the area as hard rains hit, leaving some people trapped on rooftops.
Trees down, power out, roads shut down from widespread flooding, even the turnpike underwater.
Plus, it's not a sight you see every day. Jet skis roaring down streets as officials use them to rescue stranded people.
Now, the hometown advantage. KDKA TV News.
Good morning and welcome to KDKA Saturday. I'm Brenda Waters.
And I'm Paul Martino. What a night it has been. You never made it home.
I never made it home.
I had no power. I had to drive through down trees and
a lot of
what
people
a nightmare for many. Yes, a lot of people are much worse. It's a day that has never happened before in Pittsburgh. More rain fell yesterday in a one-day time period than ever in recorded history.
That's right. Several areas are still underwater. Roads are closed, and local and state governments have declared a state of emergency in nearly every county in our viewing area.
More on all of that in just a minute, but let's first get to John Burnett. John, an incredible day yesterday. Are we done with this rain?
As you said, Paul and Brenda, good morning, everybody. A day unlike any we have ever experienced, with 5 inches of rain officially, and well more than that in some locations, maybe 6 or 7 even in 1 or 2 spots. Just an amazingly wet day. Fortunately, the rain is out of here. Let's take a look at Storm Tracker. In fact, we've got a beautiful stretch of weather coming up. Here's what's going on right now. We can take you back 3 hours and you can watch the rain melting away to our east and headed out of here, and it is really long gone. Wait till you see the 5-day forecast. There'll be a lot of cleanup, of course, today, and a lot of runoff still, but the forecast calls for just a beautiful day with skies clearing, temperatures climbing to around 70 degrees, and no rain in sight. Unfortunately, we've got the rising rivers and some creeks and streams yet to deal with. Talk about that and the full 5-day forecast coming up.
All right, John. Governor Rendell has declared a state of emergency in 4 area counties, including Allegheny, Armstrong, Beaver, Butler, and Washington. In fact, in Freeport, Armstrong County, we just got word the town is evacuating.
Yeah, that's right. The Allegheny River overflowing its banks. Rescuers starting evacuations at the Freeport high-rise. That's mostly elderly residents we're talking about. And joining us on the phone, Armstrong County Commissioner Jim Scahill. Jim, I know it has been a long night for you. Thanks for joining us. What's going on right now?
Long night, short morning. How are you, Paul, Brenda?
Good.
We have a precautionary evacuation. Our high-rise in Freeport, which is run by the Housing Authority, is on the street next to the river. And it is not quite a low, the initial low area that Freeport gets hit with, but so we're at a precautionary stage at this point in time because we're over 23 feet at Freeport. Which is flood stage.
And last night, I believe you were on with the evening anchors. You talked about the Armstrong County Courthouse and how you were getting the water out. Can you tell us about that again?
We got nailed pretty good. I personally got nailed.
Okay.
I went underwater.
So you were boring holes in the building to get the water to flow out?
Yeah, we had to do some. We were breaking some wall, and we managed to get it. The water did get out, and it did probably help protect some of the buildings, so it was worth the pain, but we're okay.
Briefly, Commissioner, this precautionary evacuation, you're dealing with the elderly. Are there medical problems to be concerned about, portable oxygen, those kinds of things?
Well, we're not allowed to talk too much with HIPAA today, but basically, if you would take your general population of elderly that live in a high-rise, you do have people that are going to be in wheelchairs, are going to have oxygen and have other just basic ailments that occur at that stage of life, and they're being taken care of ably by our Freeport ambulance areas and our fire company down in the Freeport area.
Commissioner Jim Scahill, Armstrong County. Good luck to you out there.
Thank you so much for joining us, too. We'll also be getting an update on the damage in Allegheny County when County Executive Dan Honorado holds a news conference at 9:30 this morning. We will carry that press conference live.
Meantime, they have declared martial law in hard-hit Etna.
KDKA's Bob Allen is standing by live in Etna with more. Bob, good morning. What's it look like down there?
Well, I tell you what, Brenda, the water is starting to recede. The floodwaters are going down, but look what's going to be left behind when the water goes down. layers upon layers of mud and debris. They're just everywhere, and you know what they'll have to do is start assessing the damage, but we are a ways from that because, again, the floodwaters are still here, but they are slowly receding. Now, the rain may be over, but the misery is still here in Etna, and it's going to be a while before it goes away. At this point, all firefighters and rescuers can do is wait for the water to recede. When the creek went over its banks yesterday, water rose so quickly that vehicles were trapped, and residents were asked to stay indoors or in their homes and then move to higher floors until they could be rescued. About 100 people were rescued by firefighters in boats, but eventually watercraft was rendered useless because of strong currents and so much debris in the water. In fact, several boats even capsized, trapping firefighters and police. Now, they're all safe, but now those 4 firefighters and 2 police officers are waiting to be rescued, like many of the residents who are also waiting. Now, in the meantime, some people are missing, but firefighters say they will begin looking for them later this morning when they get some daylight and the water starts receding. Now, people are then asked now to remain indoors and stay there because there are so many dangers that exist. There's some down utility poles. There's also a natural gas leak. And then we're told diesel fuel is also leaking from a tanker truck. So there are many dangers, and they're asking people to remain in their homes until they get word that it's safe from the emergency management officials. And then to add to all of this, firefighters say once the water goes down from the flooding, they still have to wait for the river to crest because there's a lot of river flooding as well. So it's going to be a while before life gets back to normal here in Etna. But right now they're waiting for the water to recede, and they're waiting for daylight, and then they hope to continue their search for residents who still may be trapped. Reporting live in Etna, Bob Allen, KDKA TV News this morning.
Okay, Bob, thank you so much. And on the phone this morning, we have Fire Chief Greg Porter. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning.
I know it's been a busy night for you. I was in Etna last week when you guys were just cleaning up from the last flood. Can you paint a verbal picture of what it looks like this morning and what's going on in Etna?
We still have considerable amount of water flowing on the main streets. The streets are desolate at this point. There's nobody permitted on the streets. Police enforced a 6 o'clock curfew last night and have encouraged everybody to stay out of the public eye because of the dangers that we just last evening.
Mm-hmm. How many people had to be evacuated, and those who are still in their homes, do they have power, running water?
Running water is the only utility that is still on in the town. I would not recommend drinking the water at this point. Cannot guarantee the sanitation of that with the intakes and the runoff from the flooding being so close to the pump house. The other utilities have been shut off throughout the entire borough because we couldn't isolate individual utilities for homes with widespread flooding. We had asked Equitable Gas and Duquesne Light to shut down the entire town. And once the water recedes, we'll start addressing utility problems with individual homes and try to work to get that power and gas restored sometime soon.
Mm-hmm. Now, we have reporter Bob Allen in Etna. He talked about some missing people in your area this morning. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
As of now, we have no confirmed reports of anybody missing. We have numerous phone calls about loved ones or family ones, specifically where they may be located. And we've been working with the evacuation shelters to try and pin down exactly how many people we're looking for. We don't have a refined list yet to know a number or if those people may be located somewhere else. So we'll be working on names and numbers throughout the day today as the water recedes and working with the evacuation shelters. And hopefully we'll be able to find everybody just misplaced somewhere in an evacuation shelter or a friend's home or relative's home.
Okay, Chief, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know you've been busy, but we'll certainly keep you in our thoughts and prayers today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, another rescue is going on right now in Carnegie. Officials say 7 people are trapped inside a National City Bank on East Main Street. Right now, firefighters aren't able to get to those folks by boat. We'll of course, keep following the situation and keep you updated.
Well, many area roads still closed this morning by the flooding, mudslides, and downed trees. Let's check out our live PennDOT traffic cam. Parts of the Parkway West and East still closed this morning with high water. Westmoreland County 911 telling us Route 30 is closed in both directions. And in Katanning, one lane of Route 28 is closed. Check this out. This is the Pennsylvania Turnpike yesterday between Cranberry and the Allegheny Valley Interchange. The view now from Chopper 2. Flooding obviously closed the turnpike for most of the evening and overnight. However, we're told it is open this morning. The rising water, of course, didn't stop some people. They tried to navigate the flooded highway, and as you might expect, their cars got stuck in the water before they were able to shut that road down. Now we're going to check out Route 28 in the Harmer area. Look at this, a mudslide, massive mudslide, closing part of that road. Landslides, mudslides occurring everywhere in our area overnight.
Coming up.
And also police called and they said to tell people to stay off Route 8 today. That's in both directions. Also coming up, we'll have more coverage of the widespread flooding and show you how people are working to keep the water away. And as water levels rose, people had to get to higher ground. Find out why, for some, the only higher ground was the rooftop.